Hey everyone, welcome back to Sketch-A-Day. I'm Spencer, and today we're going to sketch together and focus on some techniques and tips that'll help you get ready to sketch some cars. And what better way to start than focusing on some simple warm-up techniques to get those juices flowing. So grab some tracing paper, grab a pencil, pen, whatever you have, and let's get started. So the first thing that I'm going to do here, I think I always say that, the first thing, but one of the important things I'm going to do is, as always, focus on drawing with your shoulder. And you've seen me do this before if you've watched any of my other videos, but drawing with your shoulder means pivoting at your shoulder and your elbow, and locking your wrist rather, so that you're not really having tons of errors as you're sketching. So everything you see me do will be done while drawing with my shoulder. The first thing I'm going to do here in terms of warm-up is draw two dots on my page, and from one side to the next try and draw as straight a line as possible. Now I'm using tracing paper because it's cheap, but you can use whatever paper you have or pen. The important thing is to try and get a nice straight line between these 2 points. Now I don't typically warm up like this, but it's a good way to focus on speed, accuracy as part of your technique. The next part of my warm-up that I like is working on circles. And as we know, a circle is a shape that is a line curved in an equidistant manner from the center of that shape. In other words, the radius is equal all the way around. So the hard thing about a circle is trying to get that proportional relationship accurate. So to do that, I'm going to do what's called ghosting over my page, or in other words, practicing before I actually sketch that circle. Now how long you do this is entirely up to you, but the goal here is to try and get some nice circles on my page. And once I have some nice circles that I consider to be proportionally accurate, okay, so I can see this one here. The goal is to avoid overlap if possible. So these I would consider not acceptable. This one's probably my best circle. And I've been doing this for a while, so it comes a little bit naturally for me to draw a decent circle. So don't get too frustrated if you can't get it right the first time. It takes months, if not years, of practice to get that proportional relationship accurate. The next bit of practice I like to do is ellipses. Now you can either do this with a guide or without a guide. For the purposes of automotive sketching or vehicle design, I'm going to use some guides, and I'll show you why. Now, you can do this 2 ways. One is to draw 2 parallel lines like so, pretty much of any length. Let's just go across our page here. And using these lines, you can do this in 2 ways. One is to try and draw ellipses that touch the lines that you draw, okay, without overlapping too much. So this ellipse in particular, I think, has too much overlap. That one's off. But the idea here again is to focus on control as you're drawing. Now you'll also notice that as I'm drawing down my page, I'm trying to open those ellipses up, and I'll show you why in just a sec. The other way to practice this is to use this line as the central axis. Not axis rather, but try and line up the minor axes of all your ellipses on this line. Now, why on earth would I do this? Well, if I'm going to draw a car, some vehicle, or anything so that has ellipses or is perhaps composed of some cylindrical element, this is really good practice. So, for example, it may not seem apparent, but what I'm actually doing here is practicing how to draw things that have a somewhat cylindrical shape. In this case, it might have been a section of a cone. So hopefully you guys can see that, right? If I were to even add just a little shadow here, Now you can see the form coming through. The next is, well, if I have this progression of ellipses, I can add a few details like so. Pick another ellipse. And before you know it, I have a very rudimentary sketch, kind of my go-to sports coupe looking vehicle. So really, if you use these techniques to practice, you're benefiting yourself in some pretty major ways that you might not even be realizing. So never underestimate the value of warming up and practicing before you sketch. So before you sketchers get into this week's videos, I want you to take some time, practice this technique, and see if you can get better at your accuracy drawing lines, circles, and ellipses. This will help you a ton. Just remember, draw with your shoulder and your elbow and lock that wrist. And your lines, shapes, circles, and so forth should be a lot more accurate. Well, thanks for watching. I know this is a really short video, but it's also really important that you get this stuff. So take some time again to practice these things. If you like what you see, be sure to subscribe to my channel. I'll be posting a video every day. This Friday I'll be posting my first ever Fan Friday. So if you want to participate, and what is Fan Friday? Well, it's an opportunity for you to show your work. So send me an email to the email address on the screen, sketchthis@sketchaday.com. And I'll collect your work, and I might not be able to get to everyone, but I'll pick some interesting examples of work and show those here on the channel. If you want to follow me on Instagram, you can find me at sketchaday.com, or you can also jump over to my Facebook page at facebook.com/sketchaday. Well, it's been fun, guys. We'll see you next time on Sketchaday.